In the past, when things went wrong, I used to blame the world, thinking it was betraying me, letting me down, and I railed against the injustices of life and steeped for days on end in my righteous indignation. But then I realised I had it all backwards, and if I could just look at things differently, I could fix everything in a heartbeat. I'm Nicola, and I've spent my fair share of time blaming the world for falling short, but more recently, I've freed myself from that perspective, and I'm much happier as a result. So I'm going to share with you why the world is not actually betraying you, why it really has nothing to do with what's out there, what the real problem is, and how you can fix it so you can start to feel like life is actually measuring up and delivering to you what you want and need. So those things that didn't work out for you, that job that turned out to be terrible, that relationship that ended badly, that exercise routine that you abandoned, that business you started that never went anywhere, why didn't those things work out the way that you wanted them to? The issue here is that you loaded them up with your hopes and dreams, your potentially unrealistic hopes and dreams. You pinned your happiness on the outcome of those situations. You said to yourself, when this works out the way that I want, then I can feel okay, then I will be whole. The problem here is your expectations of these situations and how they should unfold. But the good news is your expectations are something you can change. So what do I mean by expectations? Let's dive into those examples a little bit further. Let's say we're talking about a job. Several years ago, I started a new job, and on paper, it looked fantastic. Great job activities, nice people, good pay, and I thought it was going to solve all my problems. I needed to go back to work to bring extra money in, and it looked like it was going to make everything right. But as it turned out, the workload was too great. My boss was a jerk, and I spent most of the time at that job running on adrenaline until I burnt myself out and just had to walk away. So I had these expectations about what this job was going to deliver, and it fell short of those, and I felt very let down by that situation. But ultimately, I had put my expectations onto that situation, and the reality of it was very different. Or that relationship that I had when I was a young adult, I got into it because I wanted something different. I was sick of playing safe and going for nice guys. So I went for someone different. And I had these expectations of this situation that he would be able to give to me what I wanted and needed. But if I had had my eyes open going into that, I would have known from the get-go there was no way he could give me what I needed from a relationship. He couldn't commit. He couldn't be faithful. He couldn't be honest with me. And so I put these expectations on him. And when, as it inevitably turned out, he betrayed me, I felt really badly done by. But I kind of knew, I guess, deep down going into that situation that that was what I was getting myself in for. But I'd put these expectations, again, unrealistic ones, on this situation that it was going to make me happy and it was going to give me what I needed. Or I know with exercise, I have taken on so many exercise routines over the years that just don't serve my body's needs. I have learned over time that my body needs gentle exercise routines like walking or yoga or stretching or qigong. And if I try and take on high intensity exercises, I just can't stick at it. My body can do it for a little period of time and then it just burns out and shuts down. And so it might be the latest craze or the fad, or it might be the exercise routine that's going to fix all of my health issues and make me strong and fit and all of those things. But if it doesn't match up with what I know works for me, then it's never going to work. So I need to be putting realistic expectations on the fitness routines that I choose. I need to understand what's likely to happen when I take on a particular exercise routine and choose ones that I know actually fit my abilities and my needs. Or the businesses I've started over the years, I have started so many businesses because they were what I thought would make a lot of money, or what the latest fad was, or what everyone was doing. And surprise, surprise, they haven't worked out because they weren't aligned with my strengths, my experience, my capabilities, or my interests. So I just couldn't stick with them. So again, I was putting expectations on these businesses that they would deliver certain outcomes. And when they didn't, I felt let down, as if somehow they should have worked because it worked for everyone else, but I wasn't looking at what was realistic for me and my situation. And when things let us down, it triggers our issues. we feel disappointed, and it feels very personal. It brings up a strong emotional reaction, activates our old patterns, and we feel like, oh, here we go again. Life is about to let us down. And I've got a video that goes through how to manage these strong emotional flashbacks when they happen. But these emotions often come from the past, from old experiences. They're not related necessarily to the current situation, or maybe it's just that it's not about what's out there, it's about what's in here and what's going on inside of us. But when we have these disappointments, it activates these old wounds and we find ourselves repeating patterns. You've seen this many times with people who have the same relationship effectively over and over. Maybe the person changes, the name and face changes, but the experience they have is the same every time. And that's because it's about what's going on inside for them. And I've got a guide with my favorite techniques for releasing emotional issues that can help to work through these old wounds and these old patterns. But the way that we know that this is actually about what's going on inside of us and our expectations is that a different person could experience the same sequence of events, the same situation, the same conditions, and have a different response, a different experience from that, not feel as disappointed because their expectations were different about what that experience was going to deliver for them. So what do we do instead? Well, the first step is to identify our expectations. In this particular situation, what was I expecting would happen? How did I expect my partner to behave? Or what did I expect would happen in that business? Or what was I expecting that job would give me? We need to identify our expectations from that. And then we need to say, well, where did I get that expectation from? When did that first come into my awareness? When did I start expecting that that's what should happen in those situations? And then once we've identified our expectations through asking these questions, we then need to evaluate those expectations. We need to look at them honestly and say, are they realistic? Can I realistically expect this person to make me happy? Can I realistically expect this job to make me feel valued? And be understanding whether or not our expectations are aligned with what is most important to us, whether they are actually accurate. And then we need to look at those expectations and say, okay, do I need to change them? Do I need to actually shift my expectations in this situation so they are more realistic, they are more aligned, they are more appropriate to what I know I'm getting myself in for in this situation, but also be less willing to rely on those situations to meet our needs. So to not put so much of our hopes and dreams onto those external circumstances, to not expect our partner to make us happy, to realize that it's our job to do a lot of these things that we're expecting the job or the partner or the business to provide for us. Now, I'm not saying you should lower your standards, and be very clear, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that we need to focus on what we can control, and what we can control in these situations is what we expect to get out of things, how we perceive what happens, and how we react to the things that happen. We need to own our part in the experiences we have, the fact that we're the ones contributing those expectations that then creates that feeling of disappointment. And when things do let us down, to understand that this is an opportunity to learn and to grow, to learn about ourselves, to learn about what we are expecting from these situations, and to grow, change and improve so that our experiences can get better as a result of that. So the next time you're tempted to blame the world for letting you down, take a long, hard, honest look at your expectations and ask yourself, are they realistic? Are they accurate? And are they aligned? And if you need even more help to stop blaming others for your experience, watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next one.